Live from the Emerald City in Seattle, Washington, the UFO, Bigfoot, and paranormal hotspot of the Pacific Northwest. Coming directly to you listening in around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Sunday. I am your host, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer, occupying the captain's chair tonight for SOR headquarters. Welcome to tonight's show, including all of our listeners on the digital side at Revolution Radio. And don't forget, you can always find our archive shows for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do us all a favor and hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to some Bumblefoot, shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store, and catching up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and so much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. And boy, do we have a blockbuster guest back with us tonight again. We have Max Hawthorne with us, the Prince of Paleo-Fiction. Max Hawthorne was born in Brooklyn and attended school in Philadelphia, where he graduated from the University of the Arts. He is the author of the award-winning Kronos Rising novel series, as well as Memoirs of a Gym Rat, and it's an outrageous expose on the health club industry. But in addition, being a best-selling indie novelist, he's also a blog talk radio host, voting member also of the Authors Guild, and world record-holding angler. I kind of like that part myself, being a vicarious fisherman. He lives in the greater Northeast with his wife, daughter, and enormous Siberian forest cat, who hopefully will be wandering around tonight during the show. We'll see if we can get an appearance by Max's cat. Max's Hawthorne's series of novels called Kronos Rising. He describes them as Jurassic Park meets Jaws, which I really kind of cool. I think that's cool. Where sunbathers along the Gulf Coast become lunch for various aquatic dinosaurs. Max is distinguished as having made the term Kraken so popular well before the fashionable name of the Seattle's new NHL farm team. So we're going to talk to him about Kraken as well, and all of his fantastic paleo-fiction novels that we're going to... Welcome to the show, Max.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be back.
Yes, well, this is going to be great. Let me make sure that yeah, there we go. We got your screen extra large now. And see if I can bring in my little thumbnail there so people can watch both of us there. So, my goodness, it's been a while since we've talked. I would imagine you have some interesting updates to give us. First of all, tell us about your neck of the woods. How's the weather out there where you have survived this last summer? Since the last time we talked, what's going on out there in your neck of the woods?
Well, I'm out here in Pennsylvania, in the Bucks County area. The weather, the last day or two, its temperatures dropped, but other than that, it's been we did have actually a few tornadoes in the area, which was unexpected. This year and last year. Yeah. First time I can remember we had tornadoes. I actually saw one about a mile from me driving one time in the sky as it was touching down. But generally speaking, the weather's been good. It was nice and warm up until a day or two ago. Tonight is the first night it's actually cold out. So no complaints, though.
Isn't it kind of interesting? And actually, I'm looking forward to the change of weather. Here in the Pacific Northwest, it's exactly that same thing. The weather now just starts to get a little twinge of fall in the evening now when the sun goes down. And the fact that we've kind of been sequestered most of the summer anyway, at least I haven't gone on any of my normal long trips and sky watches and vacations and those kinds of things. I'm kind of looking forward to the change of weather as well.
Yeah, and Halloween, of course.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? That literally starts the massive holiday rush here at the old Hall House. because I'll tell you what, I might have mentioned this before when we spoke, but my 90-year-old mother takes a lot of pleasure in pranking the Halloween trick-or-treaters by putting up all of her Christmas tree and decorations for Halloween, playing an Alzheimer's old lady who doesn't know which holiday it is. So that's how we begin the holiday season. Oh, probably a week or two sometimes before Halloween, getting the tree ready and all the decorations.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 16 Shades of Awesome right there.
As a matter of fact, we usually have a Zoom kind of watch party with people and relatives and friends joining us around the planet, having some hot toddies and snacks and those kinds of things while the people that are actually here in the house come over and help us put it up, because it's become a tradition out here in the Seattle area.
Well, the girls all have all the interior decorations done, and some of the outside stuff I did already. I still have to do all the animatronic stuff that goes in the lawn and all these giant mobile things that move these creatures and stuff. I got attacked by hornets last week when I was doing some of this stuff.
Oh my!
They got me pretty good. Let me tell you, I didn't know they were there. Came up out of the ground like a horde, and
yeah. Oh,
I settled the score later.
Oh, I'll bet. Oh, that's tough to deal with when you don't know where they're coming from initially, and then you have to like defend yourself somehow. But I can imagine Dad out there, like Clark Griswold, putting up the decorations. That would be another part of the movie Christmas Vacation that they could have added a swarm of hornets as well. Oh my, and the eaves.
When the stinging started, it left little to the imagination, let me tell you.
When the stinging started, coming from the Prince of Paleo-Fiction, that's pretty ominous.
I felt like one of those battleships from World War II, with kamikazes coming at you, and like this and this and this, swatting them out of the air, but they got me a bunch of times. Oh,
well, it sounds like the USS Nimitz and the Tic Tac UFO encounter, too, as well. These things are coming out of the middle of nowhere, huh?
There you go, yeah.
I think I've told you I represent, as the attorney of record for the many of the veterans from the USS Nimitz who are on the UAPX expedition group, who are planning to go back out this wintertime to see if they can recreate that sighting of those Tic Tac UFOs. And I'll tell you what, these guys are very serious now, getting close down to the wire to recreate that ship voyage out there with lots of gear. They're going to take out lots of gear to try to record potentially what was going on at the time. I think I've mentioned this to you, and this might be news to some other folks who are listening in, that in reality, after the fact, Kevin Day, Chief Petty Officer Kevin Day, and Gary Voorhees, P.J. Hughes, a bunch of guys out there, mentioned that for some strange reason they have a feeling that the whale migrations that were happening at the same time during November 4th, 2004, November 10th, 2004, were happening at the same time. They don't know if there was a correlation at all, but they are going back out during this same period of time, during the whale migrations, just to see if there's any kind of connection.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you remember the time I was in the show the last time, I actually mentioned to Mr. Davenport also that UFO that I saw in Philadelphia, or in the skies above Philadelphia, Southwest Philly, and it was like what you're describing, that, the tic-tac type thing, very fast moving and able to just bounce, like ricochet, like reverse direction with no deceleration or anything.
Yeah.
Astonishingly fast. So.
Wow. It's remarkable that people are, when Commander David Fravor came out with that initial description, looked like a Tic Tac breath mint, almost the same proportions, but about 40 feet long, much bigger. When he came out with that, I had never heard of that, really. I mean, I've been in ufology for quite a while, but never really heard that descriptive term. And now you're saying that indeed you had run across something very similar to that as well.
Well, this was in 1989.
Wow.
And it was just a little white, dot, like a light moving across the sky. And I was out there late at night watching. It was like a moonless night, and you see all the airplanes, their lights and stuff. And then I saw this one bright single light that, I couldn't tell you if it was tic-tac shaped or spherical. It was just a light, but it was moving 3 times as fast as the rest of as the commercial planes, which made me look at it because I thought it was a jet fighter moving at like Mach 2 or something like that. And I watched it, just rocket across the sky, and then all of a sudden it got to a certain point, and then it just went the other way. It didn't slow down. It didn't, nothing. There was no turn. It was like when you play pinball, and something goes ding, ding, ding like that.
Yeah.
It just did that, went the opposite way, same speed. And that's when I went like, whoa, because any thought that it was a jet just went right out the window.
Yeah.
But it was far away.
That is a very good description of the movement that Commander Fravor mentioned as well. The pinball kind of action, no deceleration, just bing, 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 back and forth. He explained that this tic-tac shape object was doing that on the surface of, or just above the surface of the ocean at the time that he saw it, covering a area of the ocean about the size of a 747 passenger airline that was fomenting under the water. It was bouncing back and forth like that over this whitewater area of the ocean below them when he and his wingman, female pilot, and her Wizzo were up there with him. So there was 4 pilots, 4 aviators in those 2 jets, FA-18s, that were watching this thing move just exactly how you were describing it.
Well, they got a much better look than I did. What I saw was that I had 25 or 30,000 feet up and just hauling, what?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. No sound, I would assume.
No, it was far away. At first I thought it was a plane. My only interest in it was the fact that it was, you don't see a lot of jet fighters.
Yeah.
Flying around. Although we had a couple of Raptors blast over us in Ocean City a few months back. That was the last one that was amazing. But I don't know where they were going in such a hurry. But yeah, I literally thought it was a jet fighter. So I was like, oh, wow, look at him go. He's really moving. Commercial planes go at 500 miles an hour. This thing was easily 3 times the speed. And I just kind of searing across the sky and then the other way. And I'm like, what the? And then it went so fast it just disappeared.
Yeah.
So, or changed direction and went, obviously not laterally, but away from me. But
yeah,
it was very odd.
Wow, that's fascinating stuff. Well, and here we are with your tell us a little bit about our background poster that you've got up there as well. You might want to explain to the folks a little bit about your artwork behind you.
Sure. Well, this is actually part of the cover for my novel, Kronos Rising Kraken, Volume 3, that came out in July, on July 4th. That is the Eye of the Kraken, and here we'll give the guys a little thrill there.
Wow.
Stacey Daniels, a scientist in the novel, obviously in the water, and she's very close to this Octopus gigantus, which has attacked the base in Tartarus. And but that's part of the cover art. I won't let me show the whole thing because of the screen shape and all that. But yeah, it's been. I'm very happy with the book. It's been a big hit. Wrote a bunch of bestseller lists, and it's, done more in the last 2.5 months than the last volume did in almost 2 years.
Oh, my goodness, that's wonderful. I remember we had you on Spaced Out Sunday just prior to your release, I believe, and you said it was released in July. Tell us a little bit about that time for you this summer when it was released.
Well, obviously the pandemic has made things a little weird, but fortunately, being somebody who works from home anyway, I made sure, obviously, most of the interviews I was doing, like you were gracious enough to have me on, were remote, as most people were doing. But it was just very, non-stop stuff. I had like 5 or 6, sometimes 7 interviews a week going on while doing all the other promotional stuff and the social media stuff, and while working on other projects, including the next book. I mean, you get like so, I feel like I work like 20 hours a week sometimes and only get paid for 4. But, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm happy the readers have enjoyed it. I mean, the reviews have been exemplary. I really love the feedback you get from people. I mean, they start off a review and they're like, wow, just wow, stuff like that. And, you've done your job right.
Yeah.
They say I've grown as a writer, and I guess, you do get better with time. Practice makes perfect, etc. So. Oh,
I think so. It's kind of weird when you give, literally almost give birth to a new project like that, a new novel. And all of a sudden it's out there. It's getting reviewed. It's getting read. People are now kind of adding it to the reality of their existence. It becomes part of people when they get into novelists like yourself. And I think somehow vicariously we feel that every once in a while. I don't know how you feel, but we also have to then ratchet up our game, and somehow we are able to do that as you go forward and you do new stories, new books, new projects. And I think, obviously there are quite a few exceptions out there. Of the very first novel of some writer is like the most amazing thing they've ever done in their career and ever did in their career. But most people out there, I think, like yourself, grow and get better and better with every single project.
Well, I tell you this, you're like a mother with a newborn baby when it comes to this thing. The book comes out. There's so much involved. I was blessed that I got editorial reviews before the book even came out from some best-selling authors like G. Michael Hopf and Peter Tonkin from England. He's had 45 bestsellers. He gave me a great editorial review also, and just a lot of great support. It's I was a little nervous also because the last Kronos Rising Kraken book, there was a major character death in it. I mean, a lot of people die in my books, I'm sorry to say. They compare me to George R.R. Martin. It's like all these memes going around, jokes about, I survived the last Max Hawthorne book and stuff like that. But the last book, there was this major character that died, and he was everybody's favorite character. And I had, like, lynch mobs. I mean, people, like, nasty emails and all sorts of stuff. He's not really dead, right? You're going to bring him back? All this other stuff. And I'm like, two nuclear torpedoes are under his feet. Okay? In the bow of a submarine. There's spoilers if you haven't read the book yet. I don't think he's coming back. So they're always, you better not have killed, Stacey Daniels. You better not have killed Natalia. She's my favorite. All this stuff. And it was another major death, but it wasn't as traumatic as this stuff. But, I was kind of, at least I was glad it was done. Because, the Kraken books have been 3 volumes that have been every 2 years for the last 4 years, I guess, altogether. And each time people have been left hanging because it's a set. And so they're very impatient. They want the next book. And you get a lot of this, my publisher will get emails constantly forwarding them to me. When's the next book coming out? When's the next book coming out? You left me hanging. All these plot lines, all this other stuff. I even got harassed in the physical therapist's office. He ratted me out. I walked in, and he looks up, he goes, "Hey, Max," and the woman he's working with, he goes, "Is that him?" Like that. And I went, "Oh, no." That's never a good thing. You walk in and somebody looks at you and he goes, "Is that him?" Like that. And then I had to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, my. And you
doesn't go there anymore.
You were a captive audience at that point, I'm sure. So, oh my, isn't it kind of amazing though how personal people take your characters that have been created out of your own psyche? It's fascinating.
Well, because as an author, you are every character that you create. I mean, you're not them, but if you were them, that's what you would be. So it doesn't matter, man, woman, child, hero, villain. You put part of yourself, you pour your blood into that character, into that creation.
Yeah.
They don't have to be different, obviously, but and you draw from personal experience. Like, a lot of people don't know some of the subtle little things that go on this, but the character that died, his name is Garm Braddock, Garm, and Garm is this mystical hound from Greek mythology that guarded the gates of hell or something. I think it's Greek mythology, Greek or Norse. Pretty sure it's Greek. But and so in the book, somebody asks him how he got his name, and he explains how his parents had an argument about what the kid's name was going to be, and the dad just opened the book of mythology, went, "There's his name," boom. He pointed his finger, and that was it. And my middle name is Enfield, which was my grandfather's name. And the true story is that my grandparents there argued over what the kid's name was going to be, and the father was like, "Fine." He opened up an outdoor magazine and put his finger on a page, and it was the Enfield rifle.
Oh, my.
So that's where my grandfather's name came from, and that's where my middle name comes from. So, you draw on personal experience these little character, nuances, etc. That makes them more real. Silly stuff, I guess.
Oh, I love that. And of course, your family and friends probably recognize a lot of your personal stories in some of these names and places and characters.
Oh, they all think I'm insane anyway, so, they just like, yeah, whatever, it's Max.
Yeah. It's very difficult to be that prophet in your hometown. People have no clue sometimes how much of an impact you might have outside of your local community when you get out there. I would imagine some of your family get surprised periodically going, "Oh, wow, that's interesting."
But we were in a museum one time, the Natural Sciences in Philly, and I actually had a Kronos Rising shirt on. See, it was a prize I was giving away. I decided let me wear it first, and then I'll wash it and give it. No, I'm just kidding. But I was wearing the shirt. And this guy comes up that worked, and he's like, "Oh, my God." He goes, "Have you read that book?" He goes, "I absolutely love it." He goes, "I'm only halfway into it, but it is fantastic. Blows everything out of the water." And I'm like, "You really like it?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "What do you think of the author?" He goes, "Oh, I've never met him." He goes, "But I hear he's a great guy." I said, "He is."
Yeah, he is a great guy.
And my daughter's with me. She's like,
"Oh, Dad.
Go now."
That's funny. That's real funny. Now, that brings me up to just before the break. Your daughter, I think we've spoken about her before and stuff. Well, how is she coming along now, having a father that's into this kind of stuff?
She doesn't think I have a big head, but she's just so. Sometimes she gets just tired of it. She's just like, "Yeah, Daddy, I don't want to hear your chapter. Read it to Mommy in the car." That type of stuff. "Oh, you're doing an interview. Okay, good luck." She's just. I don't know. It's. I try and keep it a little reined in.
Yeah.
Because although it can interfere with your daddy-daughter time and stuff, but she's so into anime now.
Oh.
She and I watch a lot of cartoons together, which is great for me. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I have a 21-year-old son who has gone through the anime and all that kind of stuff, and still is a techie freak, on the internet. And every once in a while, he educates me on the new technology that I need to kind of get up to speed on, which I'm enjoying having. My kids kind of keep me a little bit relevant, as I go through my old age here.
Well, I'm used to being a dinosaur. I'm kind of like the monsters I write about.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. You've got an excuse. Oh, my. Well, we're going to take a break here, I think, pretty much. But I want to make sure that I say a few highs here. We got a lot of folks in the chat room just jumping on, kind of recognizing you from last time. So it's kind of nice. We've got Sebastian, Mark, and Dan, and oh, gosh. Who else we got? A whole bunch of folks on there. We've got people jumping on and making a few comments. If I can catch a few of them, I will bring out any questions that people might have during the break as well. But right now, we are going to be right back in just a few moments with our guest, author and lecturer, and famous paleo author, Max Hawthorne. We'll be right back.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans. It's John Rising, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you addicted to the woo? Good. Me too. This is Dave Scott, and you can woo it up with me every Monday through Friday, starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, for 3 hours of great entertainment in the subjects you love. UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, intuition. Yes, we hit it all 5 days a week. Look for us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, my friends, we own the night.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Okay, we are back to Spaced Out Sunday. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Wherever you are around the planet on this very interesting kind of fallish evening that we're kind of enjoying out here. And we have Max Hawthorne on the line and is our guest. And he is talking about some interesting new topics that we haven't gotten into before. One of them that we are about ready to kind of discuss is something that he calls, well, it's been called a Mosasaur, that you brought to my attention here, that term. I think I pronounced it okay, Mosasaur, not Mosasaur, but give me a little bit of an update of what we're talking about in this new dinosaur, not a new, but a dinosaur term that I haven't used before.
Yeah, it's Mosasaur, the last part. But Mosasaurs, you wanted a cat, by the way. One of the two big Siberians is now on my desk, lying here purring.
Nice.
I'm not going to pick him up right this second, but let him get comfortable first. But and Mosasaurs are supposedly, technically extinct marine monitor lizards that evolved, came into their own towards the end of the reign of the dinosaurs. They filled the ecological niche of pliosaurs, the monsters that I use as the protagonist, let's say, in my novels. After they became extinct, mosasaurs kind of filled in, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they were kind of like a gigantic marine crocodile with smoother skin, but instead of legs, they have like four like flippers for steering, like pectoral and pelvic fins, and a long tail like a crocodile's that actually ended in a caudal fin, like a shark, although it's considered to be inverted. So it had the lobes there. So it was ideally adapted to a marine environment. They got different sizes. Some were small, some were big, some were gigantic. And they've become very popular of late because of the advent of the Jurassic World movies. So Jurassic World took mosasaurs and brought them really out into the forefront there, because they have one in the first movie that eats the Indominus Rex towards the end, and they feed it a great white shark early on as part of the show, and then it's escaped, and in the second movie it's out roaming the oceans, and it's gigantic at this point. I mean, the head alone is the size of a bus or something. They didn't really get that big, honestly, but because of this, it's become very popular. I actually, as an amateur paleontologist, I have an extensive fossil collection, and it's interesting because for me, mosasaurs are supposed to have only reached a length of approximately 50 feet is about considered their maximum, which is a big animal. It would still weigh at 50 feet probably, I'm going to say 15 or 20 tons on a guess. But that's considered to be the maximum for the genus. But I actually own a fossil now that suggests they got bigger than that. I own a a mandible, lower jawbone, from what would have been a 40-foot mosasaur, a species called Prognathodon. And this animal was killed by a much larger mosasaur. And you can see the tooth punctures in the mandible. They go crunch, 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 crunch. And the punctures from the teeth of this larger predator are not healed. So it grabbed this smaller mosasaur by the face and either ripped its lower jaw off or its face off or broke its neck or whatever. But there's no healing from these punctures. So when I extrapolated the distance between each of the teeth, compared it to my specimen and other known specimens, you realize that this animal had a head at least 9 feet long, the attacker, and was probably fleshed like 70 feet in length, which equates to about 50 tons. So I'm going to be doing a documentary on this, and this is going to show that this type of mosasaur was, one, they got bigger than people think. Two, that Prognathodon may prove to be the largest of all of them known. And three, it ranks it up there as one of the big bads of all time marine predators. Larger than the Megalon shark, as big as a lot of sperm whales.
Yeah.
So,
oh my goodness. I can just imagine it right now. I remember when I was a young guy watching the movie Jaws. They're out there initially in that boat, and at one point, someone, the skipper, gets a glimpse of the Jaws, coming out, breaching the surface of the ocean, just behind the stern of of his small craft, and he turns to the rest of them and says, "We need a bigger boat." and that is
ad-libbed that line.
Oh,
he came up with it on the spot. It wasn't even in the script.
Oh, tell me about this. I'm glad that I asked. You've got a little insight on the film.
Yeah, it's the most famous line from the movie, and one of the most famous movie lines of all time. Everybody's used it, pretty much. And it was a scene where he's chumming like fish blood and guts over the side to attract the shark, which is actually what's done. I mean, the technology has changed, but you put parts of flesh and blood and oil in the water, and it creates a chum line, a slick, and eventually it'll be miles long. Sharks will intersect that, and they will come to you. They'll follow the source. So he's tossing stuff over the side and stuff, and I think the captain was like Roy Scheider's character. The character Quint.
Yes.
He's like, tells him to keep chumming. He's like, let Hooper take a turn. He's like, Hooper drives the boat, chief, and he's like throwing the stuff over the side. And then all of a sudden, I could, drive the boat. Tell him to come down here and chum some of this. Beep. And as he does that, the shark's head goes up out of the water. This is a 25-foot, like 4-ton animal, and he sees it. He's like this, and then he turns. Sorry, Olaf. And I scared the cat. And he walks in, and he goes up to Quint, and he goes, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." and he ad-libbed that line, and it was great.
Oh, that's a great bit of I'm a trivia nut when it comes to film. That's fascinating. Little did I know then that story, but I literally became, after that film, a tour guide at Universal Studios as a young guy, being the guy on the microphone with 120 tourists in 4 different trams, behind me as I'm talking, going through the Jaws set in the back of the studio lot. And I don't know if you remember, but they literally had a really cool thing where the actual entire tour tram stopped at the edge of the water, at the ocean, and then tipped over as if, something was going to throw everyone into the water at that point, when the Jaws mechanical shark literally comes up and makes a huge pass in front of every single tourist, from around the world that's in my tour tram. Literally, people would almost have heart attacks, at that moment.
I saw the ride myself. Yeah, and it just goes to show you, this is why marine terror as a genre, whether it's movies or novels, is so popular. It has this instinctive fear that it brings out in us. We're small. We're helpless. Once you're in the water with this thing, if that boat you're on sinks, you're just bait on the surface there, a snack. You can't get away. You can't swim fast. What are you going to do?
Oh, and at the beginning of that, Steven Spielberg was very good at horror and anticipation, suspense, those kinds of things, where I remember the very first, one of the beginning scenes of that film is there's the beautiful girl just kind of swimming and treading water in the middle of the ocean somewhere. I don't know why the heck she was there to begin with, obviously, right? Don't go into the house, don't go through that door. And she's out there swimming in the ocean, but they did that thing where all of a sudden she's grabbed from under the water, and taken down. And
it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. I was a lifeguard most of my summers, literally at the beaches in the Pacific Northwest, and it just scared the heck out of me to think that that scene was so well done. Oh my!
And it's worse because it's at night.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You can't see anything, and the teeth on a shark are razor blades. It's just horrible.
Oh, yeah. They did an amazing course. Universal Studios, had budgets galore back in those days. They did quite an amazing job of recreating this monster from the deep and to animate it, because obviously you've got the animatronic kind of capabilities out there as well, and they did an amazing job of back in the old days when things were not CGI. They were way ahead of their time.
I used to know one of the guys who he was like a key grip on Jaws, and he described to me, he worked the movie himself back then. He described all the problems they had with the shark, the mechanical problems and such. But they managed to, they pulled off a great film. I mean, as a kid, I was afraid to take a bath. I thought this thing was going to come up out of the draining. And I literally had a woman post a review on my first novel. She just started the series, and she said she's so afraid she had her dog stay with her in the bathroom so she could take a bath.
Oh my! There you go.
So you're doing a good job if you get people afraid to get in the tub.
Oh yes, definitely. And of course, oh my gosh, Alfred Hitchcock was the king of that kind of anticipation, back in those same days. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but I do know this because of my job at Universal at that point as a young tour guide. Alfred Hitchcock was still alive, still going to his office every day on the back lot at Universal Studios when Steven Spielberg was just hitting it big. So both of them that were on the lot at the same time. Spielberg as a young guy, and the old director, Hitchcock as well. It was quite a time to be roaming around in Hollywood, on the back lot during those periods of times. I would literally, in my tour tram, would come down to the back lot, and if it was a good day, you'd get guys like, for instance, Raymond Burr would come out of his office and literally stop the tram and say hello to some of the guests on the tour. And my gosh, if he ever wanted to, he would just grab the microphone out of my hand and welcome everybody to the lower lot. People like Hitchcock. And let's see, oh my gosh, who was the famous costume designer woman, female, that was huge at Universal? She would do the same thing. Her name will come to me as well. But those were the good old days when people literally kind of did that. Some of the stars would show up, everyone out of the blue, and just take over.
That's awesome, because it shows that they haven't lost the ability, to bond with regular people. They don't have that enormous ego where they think that they're above that sort of thing. Yeah. Some people do get like that.
No, you're exactly right. And the cool thing about it was, as lowly tour guides, on the totem pole in the back lot there, we were constantly amazed by some of those stories. Literally, Lucille Ball, like I said, Raymond Burr, some of those guys just be wandering around, going from office to office, and they would stop, they would wave at you, kind of give you a little kudo as a tour guide, like they knew you, for your tour tram, and literally would take that time out of their day. It's almost as if that old star system was dying, and they didn't want to let it go themselves. That was kind of interesting for us to realize that. It was fun.
I heard, I saw it actually on social media. These guys posted a picture at an airport they got just in the last 6 or 12 months, I guess, with Samuel L. Jackson. They were at an airport and they saw him there.
Oh.
And they were like, oh my God, it's Samuel L. Jackson. And they were like, they wanted to go over and stuff, but they were afraid. So he walked up to them and he said, yo, he goes, you MFs. He goes, yo, you want a picture or what?
Ah, is that cool? Yes. Guys like that literally don't get the good publicity that they should because of the efforts that they make to literally show folks that, you know what, I'm just like you. You know, I have a personality, I have quirks and everything stuff, but hey, you know, I'm glad to see you. It's kind of nice to do that every once in a while.
It is. And I hear that a lot. I'm not a star like one of these guys, but on my Facebook group, I'll interact with the people there. And they tell me all the time, we love this group because you're the only author that talks to his readers, his fans. We'll actually spend the time, we'll answer a question, we'll interact and stuff. And maybe it's just because I work from home all day and, you know.
Yeah.
Me and the cats.
Oh, I think that's wonderful, Max. The idea that you literally do enjoy the trip. You know, it's like you're not just always waiting for the next thing and, you know, looking for the next thing. You are enjoying the trip along the way. And I'll tell you what, I've got a great story for you. Literally, George Burns, a George Burns story. I think you'd enjoy this one. At one point after the tour guide thing, you know, being burnt out doing that about, you know, 10 hours a day, you know, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week if they needed you during your off times and all that stuff. For years, I ended up becoming the host in the green room backstage at Universal Studios Amphitheater. And, of course, all the rock groups, Sinatra would open the season, you know, and all the stars would come through. And at one point, John Denver and George Burns were doing the Oh God tour. Mm-hmm. It was a fantastic movie. And, of course, George Burns would come out in front of John Denver's 3-hour concert performance and do about 45 minutes of stand-up in his 80s. He was just fantastic. But literally, after the show, after he did his 45 minutes and for the rest of the evening, it ended up being myself as a 26-year-old kid as the host backstage in the green room with George Burns for 3 hours. Him and I'm trying to entertain the guy. I was a little worried that what do I do with an 80-year-old icon like George Burns? How do I, you know, keep him entertained? Literally, he kept me in stitches for 3 hours every night, you know, for that entire run. But one famous thing he told me, he says, kid, he called me kid. And of course, I said, that's great. You call me whatever you want, Mr. Burns. He says, kid, here's the secret. You got to enjoy the ride and be nice to people on the way up. Because guess what? You're going to meet those same people on the way down. And they're going to remember you.
And when it comes your time to get to the pearly gates, you've got it in.
There you go. I'm hoping. What can you imagine talking to God, you know, for 3 hours a night back in, you know, the 1980s, you know, when that was a really cool film, you know. That was awesome. And I tell you,
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I tell you what, he literally was still talking all the time about Gracie, his lovely wife, and how much he loved her. The stories that he would tell about her, you could just tell that was quite a partnership that they had. Awesome. Anyway, this is a blast for me to be able to exchange stories with a guy like yourself who's been around the block, who's got some stories of his own here, and who have created these amazing novels that at one point I can well imagine that you are, and probably already have been, will be approached for the film rights to some of these beautiful novels that you've written.
I mean, that's every author's dream. If it happens, I welcome it, obviously, but we'll see. I mean, I just keep writing. I would think that in terms of what's in vogue now, between Jurassic World and films about the Megalon shark and stuff like that, the public, the interest in stories about prehistoric marine life being alive in the present and such, it never loses its luster, so to speak. The only question is, can you do something original, something really gripping? Can you create scenes, visual set pieces, characters that people relate to? I'm blessed to be able to do that. So, yeah, I mean, if a film producer out there is interested in the Kronos Rising series, I'm definitely looking forward to talking to them.
Yeah. No, it is interesting that you seem to be kind of riding the crest of a Paleolithic wave of this whole sea creature monster craze right now. That's, the Seattle, NHL farm team is called the Kraken. I think they call themselves the Kraken, and as they spell it the same way.
Krakens, maybe, or I'm not sure. Krakens plural.
Well, that's a good question. Now, when you give us the term Kraken and you use it yourself, is it plural without an S or not?
Well, actually, the plural is technically crake, Krake.
Ah.
Like a pair of crake.
Yeah.
It's kraken, that type of thing. But I don't think nobody would know who that is, what that is.
Yeah.
It comes from the German word crake, or kraken, which means an octopus or a twisted thing. So.
Oh, interesting. I never knew that it was the German term for twisting or something. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It has dual meanings. But, yeah, so crake is plural and kraken is singular. So.
Okay.
But,
that's good.
I mean, I'm sure people say Krakens. No. Like the Kraken rum.
Yeah. No.
Which is not in this book, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
There you go.
Yeah, later. And then...
Oh, hey, that's a lot of what we do sometimes every once in a while, just to relax out here in the Facebook land and the interviews that we have on Spaced Out Sunday. It's always nice to have a hot toddy within reach if you want, so don't worry about that. But, that's fascinating. And the idea that we were just talking about, the fact that these kraken, these sea monsters have almost been kind of underutilized, and the way that you've created this amazing character in literally an octopus. I mean, that is just quite unique, I think, as far as a paleo monster.
Well, as the series progressed, it's kind of like movie-wise, if you have Alien versus Aliens. Like my first novel was set the stage, like Alien did, introduce you to the Pliosaurs, this menace, what was going to happen. And then 30 years later, I upped it a notch, and I introduced these Kraken and a futuristic world that had been exposed to marine monsters that have taken over the oceans and such. But, I mean, giant octopuses have been in numerous movies. I mean, going back to, like, War of the Gargantuas and things like that. I mean, they've been around for a long time. So the idea, I really strive for realism in my books. So the idea of using the Octopus gigantus is one thing, which is believed to actually exist, by the way, as a real animal. But I wanted to make it plausible. I wanted to make it realistic, biologically realistic, and I wanted to add a level of menace to it that you didn't normally see. So the first thing I did was I wanted to figure out where these animals would live, and the ocean abysses, which is where they're believed to exist, was ideal. And what I did was I had it so that they're very large animals. I mean, the females, the bigger one, has a tentacle span of 200-something feet, 300 tons of cephalopod. What do they eat? They eat whales. sperm whales, to be exact.
Wow.
So the idea being when sperm whales go down diving thousands of feet deep in search of squid and giant squid to eat, sometimes there's something down there waiting for them. The great enemy, as they refer to it in their minds. And it will seize and prey on a sperm whale. The whale never comes back, and that's why. So that worked out nicely for setting the stage for it. Olaf is trying to pull at the door because my wife closed the door, and I have to open that in a second. But let me just hold on. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. Well, you know what we'll do is literally we'll just take our top of the hour break. How about right now? So take your time. You can probably hear me in the background. Yeah, what we'll do? Oh, there he is.
If I can do this real quick. This is Olaf, my daughter's kitten. Okay.
Oh, my.
He's only 10 months old, and already, I don't know if he's going to show because the background he's popping in there. But anyway, he's enormous. All right, you.
10 months old. That's huge. You're talking. You're talking Paleolithic right there. Holy mackerel. Okay.
It's like a snow leopard.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to take our top of the hour break right now anyway, so now you get a chance to relax, kick back, and enjoy yourself. And we'll be right back here at the top of the hour in about 6 minutes. So hang on, folks. This is Spaced Out Sunday.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I'm bringing you the Woo every Monday through Friday on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going all out to bring you the strangest, oddest stories and subjects I could find for your entertainment. Why? Because when we hit peak Woo, I know I've done my job. So come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, and together, my friends, we own the night.
Okay, welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Sunday. I'm your host, Michael W. Hall, the Paranormal Lawyer. Thanks for joining me. We welcome back everyone listening in our terrestrial affiliates, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newton, Georgia, and UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And on the digital side, we are proud to be on Revolution Radio. Don't forget, you can always check out our archives for free at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. Do me a favor, just hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to some Bumblefoot, shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store, and catching up on the SOR Newswire, and so much more. And we are with our good friend Max Hawthorne, the author, the Prince of Paleo-Fiction. My goodness, did you create that genre? It sounds almost like you are that genre.
I didn't create it. Paleo-Fiction goes back to the days of Jules Verne and such like that. Skull Island, King Kong, all that good stuff. But the moniker was slapped on me by a passionate reader back in like 2014, and then Fangoria magazine had it on there, the Prince of Paleo-Fiction, and I'm like, sounds good to me, I'll just go with it, you know.
Oh, you know,
I get to be king eventually, hopefully, you know.
Yeah. Well, I like the Prince. Kind of keeps you in the younger mode for a while there. You know, get it as long as you can get it, I would imagine. But it's like the same thing. I have a little story, like we all do, on how we kind of get our nicknames. You know, the paranormal lawyer was something that Dave Scott foisted upon me as the Canadian paranormal talk show host, who literally is the executive director and 5 nights a week talk show host for Spaced Out Radio. Came up with the idea that that's weird. You're a lawyer, an ex-Superior Court judge pro tem as well, and you're into the paranormal. I'm going to call you the paranormal lawyer. It's stuck, and when it does, then you're stuck with it, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's not a bad thing. As long as you don't have ghosts showing up saying, "Hey, can you represent me at this house?" Some trespassing issues, apparently.
Yeah, apparently the haunting thing doesn't go over well. In certain.
I was coming out of the shower. I was there. Yeah.
Oh, I would love to be able to write a good interview with a ghost who comes in knocking. Going, "Okay, we need to talk." Oh, that's hilarious. I love the way you think. Good for you. Well,
I've had real ghosts around sometimes, so
Have you had experiences in that regard with spirits and those kinds of things as well as what you also do?
Yes.
Oh my! So in other words, your residence, or was it an old house? So tell us a little bit about some of your hauntings.
Well, I mean, haunting is one way of putting it, or visiting. It's usually relatives. My father passed away in June from COVID-19.
Oh my!
And, yeah, he was in one of his nursing home things.
Yeah.
So a day or two after his funeral, and this was a minor thing, but I knew it was him. One of our cats, and people know that cats can see things that people can't.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So they're very spiritual creatures to begin with. And I was upstairs on the second floor, landing outside my daughter's office, and Mace, the older cat, he's like 2, he was right next to me, and then all of a sudden he turned and he looked towards the stairs, and you could tell he was looking at something on the stairs, and his hackles came up. He went like this, like that, and he started backing up. He was staring at something, and as he backed up, he was staring at the stairs, and his eyes and head went up, as if something was walking up the stairs and coming toward him. He was tracking it, and he looked very alarmed. And I knew what it was. There's no other explanation for it. And I'm like, "Dad," "you're welcome to come and visit. Don't be hanging around all the time. Girls are here. They get changed, etc. Privacy, yada, yada, yada." I mean, that was a minor thing. But, after my grandmother passed away, she literally came to my apartment in Brooklyn, this was many years ago, and tortured me for 2 days. And I'm not kidding. Tortured me. She used to play practical jokes on me when she was alive. I was a young bodybuilder, and she wanted to show me that she was tougher than I was, which she was. I'm not going to argue that. But one time she got me, she came up, she was getting dinner ready for everybody, and she picks up this pot off the stove, all metal pot, and she's holding it by the bottom, and she says, "Oh, sweetie, do me a favor, put this on the table." So she goes to, holds it out to me. So I'm looking at it. She has no gloves on. She's holding it by the bottom where the fire would be. Yeah. It's obviously not hot. So I grab the metal handles, and it's searing. It's like, and I'm like, "Ah!" And I go to drop it, and she's waiting for me to drop it, and she catches it. And she's like, "What's the matter with you? You act like this is hot or something." And then she goes to put it on the table, and I'm like, it's like this, So that's how she was. That was our relationship at times. So after she passed away, the night of the funeral, I'm in my apartment, and my bedroom had these 2 French doors, the framework and all that stuff, and the glass panes and the thin curtains and stuff. And one of those 2 doors was always bolted top and bottom, and the other one I would use walking in and out. And whenever I would sleep, it was always closed and the lock was clicked. Okay, not locked, but the turn lock. And I could not sleep comfortably if this wasn't open. So I'm lying there, and outside of that, the bedroom, right around the corner, as you walked into the apartment, there was a motion sensor light I had installed, so that if I walked in carrying groceries or whatever, I didn't have to fumble for a light switch. It was infrared, and so I had to pass through there for it to turn on. Once it turned on, it would stay on for 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm lying there asleep. It's 1:30 or no, about 1 in the morning, and all of a sudden I feel a light like through my eyelids. I open my eyes, and I'm realizing the light right outside of the bedroom. The curtains are translucent. It's on. So I'm very alarmed because that means I have an intruder. So I jump out of bed. This is Brooklyn. I check the house, everything, the doors, the windows, everything's fine. So I'm like, well, that's never happened before in 5 years. That's very odd. I'm thinking maybe a mouse, but it didn't make sense because the beam would be higher up. So I go back to bed. I'm like, whatever. And I close my eyes and I go to sleep. And then, like a minute later, I get something weird again, and I open my eyes, and now not only is the light on again, but the door to my bedroom has been opened. So I open the door. And I'm like, and I got this distinct impression that somebody was looking at me going, "Hi there!" Like that. And I'm like, jeez. So now I'm freaked out. And I tear the place apart, there's nothing. It takes me like hours to get back to sleep. The next day, I call my dad, and I tell him what happened. And I'm very weirded out. And he explains to me how my grandmother, right before she had a stroke that killed her, a few days earlier, had been at my aunt's. She called her to the bedroom, and she said she had this wonderful dream. She saw heaven and her husband and all these gone family members, and asked if it was her time to come. And they said, not yet. There are things on earth you have to do for your family. So he said, maybe she gets to ride home with you, from the cemetery, and she's playing jokes on you. I'm like, great. He's like, well, talk to her. People think that spirits can read your mind. They can't. You gotta say what's on your mind. So I'm like, sure, Dad. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Dad. I'm not buying it, So that same night, I'm sitting there in my living room watching my big, expensive television and all that, and all of a sudden, boom! The screen goes black, and I'm like, what? The picture's too blue. I didn't get the extended warranty, So I'm like panicking. I pick up the remote, which is a foot away, and it goes right back on. And I'm like, that was weird. I put it down. A minute later, boom, it goes off again. I'm like, what? I turn it on again. Put it down. Boom, it goes off. This happens 20 times over the next 10 minutes.
Oh my!
Finally, I scream, Grandma, if this is you, we really need to work on our communication skills. It's all quiet, and then the TV stopped. And I said, just to make sure, I put the Spice Channel on. Which, for her being very old-fashioned, I am not going to tell you what was on there. I found the worst thing I could find. I left it on. And I get a feeling she just got out of Dodge, very upset, and never came back. And she didn't.
Oh, that is great. What a story. Oh, my goodness.
My dad was very angry when I told him that the Spice Channel part. That's my mother, this and that. I'm like, you were not conceived immaculately.
Oh my, what a great story, especially since the fact that you gave us the background of how very interesting and tough nails your grandmother was to begin with. Holy mackerel.
You would go over there in the middle of the day. I used to have an apartment next door, and her and her sisters, after my grandfather passed, there's a bunch of 80-year-old biddies be over there drinking Boilermakers and telling dirty jokes and stuff and laughing at me. They were horrible bullies.
Oh my goodness! What genetic background would they have come from? Just to give us a little bit more of an information.
My grandma would have been predominantly, I think, German and Pomeranian.
Oh,
something like that. Yeah, but they had very long lifespans. They all lived to be in their mid-90s.
My,
and they're from the older generation, so that said a lot. But yeah, she came back for some practical jokes after the fact, and she was there. If I hadn't got rid of her, she'd still be there or here.
Oh, I can imagine.
My shoulder now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of reassuring as well that life probably goes on no matter what. Even after our time here on the planet. That's I love those stories every once in a while, thinking, this is just kind of an experience that we're having, and obviously, there's something afterwards as well.
I think if somebody has the mental energy, they have that option. If they want to stick around. And she had a lot of mental energy, even in her 90s, so.
Yeah.
I'm drawn to this stuff. It just keeps coming at me, different things.
Well, it sounds to me that indeed you have had an interesting life maybe even as a child? Interesting background back then as well?
I did a lot of outdoor stuff, and I was oriented nature, things of that nature. There was that incident when I stuck the fork in the electrical socket, of course. Like it had something to do with things. Yeah, I was home bored one time. I'm not kidding. I was like 10.
Oh.
And I was going to put a blog post about this, but it's kind of silly. And I don't know if I'd seen it on a cartoon or what, but I was up in my room alone, and I thought, I wonder what'll happen. Oh, don't try this at home.
Please, that's right.
Okay? And I was like, I wonder what will happen if I stick a fork in this electrical socket. An all-metal fork. So I tried, and it wouldn't fit because there was like 4 tines. So I said, well, I'll just bend down 2 of these tines so that it will fit.
Oh,
and
my.
I measured which ones, and I did that, and I stuck it in the socket. Well, let me tell you what happens. So the first thing that happens is your hand feels like it gets hit with a red-hot hammer. It's like, bang! Like that. And it went, whoa! And you can't let go. Okay? It's like your hand is welded to the fork. You're stuck.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I panicked and I couldn't let go. And then I felt this searing wave of heat start running up my arm real fast. Like, it was working its way up toward my shoulder. And I just somehow knew, if this takes it all the way to my heart, I'm going to die. So out of desperation, I threw myself backwards because I still had the control of the rest of my body and managed to break the connection.
Oh, man.
Other than my hair standing up a little, I'm perfectly fine, But I've been normal ever since.
I'll bet the residual effect was stuck with you for a while.
It was shocking.
Oh, my. Yeah, the things that we do as kids, it's amazing that we're still alive sometimes as well. But, yeah, that's...
It's my electrifying personality.
Well,
we say current.
Current, yeah, direct current, for sure. You would wonder if a guy like Tesla, knew these kinds of things and maybe even enhanced himself with some of these experiments that he did as well. And you wonder if it had any residual effect on the rest of your life. Because obviously people I've heard that literally are hit with lightning end up having some interesting changes in their lives and personalities as well because of that.
I would imagine stuff like that is almost unavoidable. I don't know. I don't know if I had any weird stuff happening to me prior to that. A lot of things that I've experienced started at age like 16 and 19 and so forth. But I had a near miss with lightning. I would not want to get a direct hit.
Oh, really? You literally did?
Yeah, I was an idiot. It's like thunderous downpour outside of a movie theater. Like buckets of water and lightning flashing over. Like, I'll go get the car. You guys just wait here. And I walk outside, and it hit a transformer, like maybe 50 feet from where I was standing.
Yeah.
I guess. And I remember it was like this deafening sound, and everything was white. Literally white. I couldn't see anything. And I was like, am I dead? And then everything, it faded away, and I was like, well, that wasn't good.
Oh!
But, I got in the truck and,
was
changed my drawers. Just kidding.
Was this during the day or nighttime?
No, it was nighttime, and it was a tremendous storm. One of those little walls of water pouring down and stuff, and none of us had me and my friends had an umbrella, and I was like, oh man, I'll go get the truck. And,
yeah.
But
I would imagine your friends actually heard the transformer exploding, or were they aware of what happened to you?
I told them what happened. They asked about, because they felt the ground, the vibration. It was so close. But they were laughing because by the time I got in the truck and drove back, the rain stopped. It went through so quickly.
Oh, wow.
If I had waited 5 minutes, it would have been a tiny little drizzle. And
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Wow.
My guardian angel's working overtime, but maybe let me tell you.
Oh, that's for sure. I often wonder that myself. And do you happen to remember the film you were watching when you came out of that movie theater?
No. Everything was a blank.
Yeah.
I mean, like nothing. Like
Wow.
just all white.
It's almost as if maybe you were in a different dimension periodically as soon as that happened. That would be interesting to think about.
I used that description when that character I told you about, when the nuclear torpedoes went off under him. Like that he was suddenly surrounded by just pure whiteness.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So you're actually describing in your novel this person's experience of death at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my.
I draw from personal experience every chance I get.
I'll bet. Yeah. Oh, that's...
I only died once, but...
Seriously?
On the operating table. Yeah.
Oh, my. Is that something you want to relate within the next 5 minutes that we have left before the break?
Okay, sure. I mean, I don't think it was a little traumatic, but I had to have surgery on my elbows because I had a car accident and both of them had gotten injured and they had bone spurs in them. So they wanted to space these procedures like 6 months apart. And this is 20-something years, maybe 20 years ago. So, or 25. And the first surgery was great. Worked like a charm, no problem. You know, they have you in there, they have you like crucified. You're like literally tied down to this cross almost, this padded cross. And then they give you this sedative to make you dopey. And then they put your arm in an electronic tourniquet that squeezes like the upper arm on and off so that blood flows allowed. And then they inject all this stuff into your arm that makes it ice cold so that they can do the procedure, I guess, without general anesthesia. So that's what they did the first time. The second time I go in, same doctor, same hospital. And I was shocked and bodybuilding, martial arts, all that jazz, my body tended to adapt to medicine very quickly. So the woman gave me this injection. She's like, there, you're feeling nice and relaxed now. And I went, I don't feel beep. You know? And she's like, so she hit me again. And this time it was so much, I passed out. So now I wake up in the middle of the surgery. The guy's got my arm up like this. He's chiseling away. I can hear it. Crunch, crunch on the bone. I can feel it. I can feel the hot blood running down and hitting my cheek and my chest and stuff. And then the pain starts to kick in, and I'm like, hey, doc. I'm like, that hurts.
Oh, no.
That hurts a lot. And he freaks out. And he's like, ah. Now they gas me on top of everything else.
Oh,
and
no.
My heart stopped.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
Just
wow.
like that. So now you're unaware of time. I wake up what seems like a split second later, and I'm all mummified. They got me literally bound up like a mummy, and my chest feels like somebody hit me with a sledgehammer like 50 times, and they throw me out of there into the recovery ward. Like they wanted to get me out of there while they still had a pulse. And then they leave me with the poor nurse who knew me from a health club we both went to, and she's straddling me. She climbs into the gurney on top of me, and she's slapping me back and forth across the face as hard as she can. She's like, Max, crack! Look at me! Crack! Open your eyes! Crack! And I can't even feel it.
Oh, my.
And it's like nothing. You know? And she's like, look at me, and she's shaking me. She's like, look at me. I need you to breathe like that. Do what I do. You know, I'm so tired. You know, so sleepy, so tired. And you could see the pulse. It was like, whoom, whoom, whoom. So slow. And she did this for like 10 minutes straight, making me breathe. Until finally she thought I wasn't going to croak on her.
Yeah.
And then she's there talking with this person. She's like, I can't believe how much they gave this kid. Look at this stuff. You know, so they almost aced me. Yeah, for surgery.
Oh, my. For elbow surgery. Holy mackerel. Now, during that near-death experience, do you have any words of wisdom, any interesting experience that we can relate?
I don't know if, like, when you have general anesthesia, I don't know if you've ever had a surgery.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no dreaming, so there's no experience of any passage of time. It's like you go under, you wake up.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. So I don't know if it's that or that I wasn't, like, they had to do CPR and paddles and all this nonsense. And I don't know how long I was gone, but I don't think it was long enough that you actually leave.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise there's nothing there but black.
Yeah.
You know, the opposite of the lightning strike. I prefer the lightning strike to just nothing in black.
Ooh, I'll bet. Yeah.
But I did have problems falling asleep for a long time after that because I was worried I wasn't going to wake up,
Oh, my goodness. The residual effect of that obviously stuck with you subconsciously.
Yeah. It was a little traumatic. And they botched the surgery, which shows you they didn't even finish it.
Oh.
They were like, got a pulse, throw him out of here, toss him into the ambulatory recovery ward, and if he dies, it's on them. Yeah, the whole arm was messed up, swelled up twice normal size. Very painful, never healed right.
Oh, my. I can relate to that. Being a collegiate wrestler, I've got bone spurs in my elbows, my whole life. That is very painful. Every once in a while, you'll get something, you'll just put your elbow down on it. Oh, gee.
They're just lucky I didn't know a paranormal lawyer back then, or I would have been in trouble.
There you go. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Max Hawthorne, this is just a real pleasure for all of us here on Spaced Out Sunday. We're going to take our break again, Max, at the bottom of the hour here for 6 minutes. You got some time to relax and enjoy it. So we will be right back, folks, with more of Spaced Out Sunday in just a moment.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be. Open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docu-series featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and strange humanoids. Truth seekers Stephen Bassett, Jeff Meldrum, Jack Kasher, and Stanton Friedman, among others, all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get bumblefucked?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
And we are back with Max Hawthorne, the Prince of Paleo-Fiction. I really like that moniker. And we're talking about his new novel that's just come out, actually, in the Kronos Rising series. Tell us about the book that came out in July. It's not that far that has been released because I want to make sure people know about it and where they can find it, all that stuff. Let's get a little bit of publicity for you right now on your current novel.
Well, thank you. It's very kind of you. Kronos Rising Kraken Volume 3 is the 6th book in the series. I haven't decided how many more there's going to be or if I'm going to take a break from it or not, but it was the long-awaited part of the Kraken trilogy, because like I mentioned before, it was a 3-book thing. And it is one huge story. It was impossible to write it as one book. It would have been 1,800 pages long, which is prohibitive for printing costs, etc., I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it resolves the ongoing conflict that's been going on. The Kraken that we were talking about earlier, there were a pair of these monsters that ran out of whales to eat and started coming up to the surface, and they attacked a schooner, which they mistook for a blue whale, and they found out that there were juicy little tidbits on the schooner that were still edible. So they became man-eaters, basically, the pair of them. It was a male and a female. And they started attacking ships left and right, and boats and pleasure boats and yachts, etc. And one of the things I gave them to make them more menacing was, since they preyed on whales, I worked it out so that their suckers exuded a molecular acid, so it would help them grip on the slippery things. And they made it even more dangerous because if they swatted a person, they could melt you practically on contact if they chose to.
Yeah.
So besides damaging metal and everything else in fiberglass, etc., they were inflicting horrific damage on the people that they were consuming, and this was an ongoing thing. So one of them was killed off, and their nest was killed off. So the female at the end of the last book was the sole survivor, and she had been tracking a wounded member of the we'll call one of the protagonists back to the base called Tartarus, and her intention was to go there and to wipe out every living thing in there. She wanted to avenge her brood. So, and I got to play around with it. I made her octopi are very intelligent animals. They dream. Believe it or not, they can perform complex tasks, and their brains are proportionally larger than those of most mammals. So they're really amazing animals. But I wanted her to be irrational, and so the nest that I had them in, where they had their offspring, their eggs, I created a new class of U-boat, an unknown class of U-boat from World War II. And this sunken U-boat was sitting on the bottom and a huge hole in it, and they were nesting inside of it. And it was some enriched uranium there that the Nazis had. So her exposure to this radiation kind of drove her into madness. So it made her, a little more unpredictable, easily angered, infuriated, vengeance-driven, etc. So she attacks this base, she rips open the gates to get inside, and she goes on this rampage trying to wipe out every living thing. It's just an ongoing thing. There's a cataclysmic clash of the Titans between her and the other big bad monster. I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, but it's a really great story. I don't want to use the term epic because that sounds very egotistical, but everything, like, nobody knew what was coming out of it, which was very pleasant to me, that I was able to keep the whole plot twist unpredictable. All loose ends were tied up. The unexpected romance materialized that people really appreciated because they didn't know they wanted it until it was there. Very well hard-earned. I had one character, she was very damaged, and you wouldn't think that she would ever resolve her issues and be with somebody, but I was able to work it out so that happened. So, and I left an epilogue, which sort of left the gate open for future books too, because I'm not an idiot, obviously.
Yeah, but, very good.
I would say tell people, don't take my word for it or your word for it. If you go on Amazon, they have this great feature called Look Inside, and it lets you read like the first 3 or 4 chapters of any given book, like 10%, which in my case is a big book. You can read like 60 pages. So you go on there and click on the Kindle thing and enjoy yourself and see how you like it. If it's for you, new readers are always welcome.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when people come and they sample the chapters of your third or this latest novel in the Kronos Rising series, tell us a little bit about, are they going to just get put their toes in the water? Or are they going to be thrown right into some of the story and plot line that will really grab them?
Well, the thing is, the Kronos Rising Kraken Volume 2 ended with this incredible cliffhanger. It made like the "No, I am your father" Darth Vader thing look almost bad by comparison.
Oh my!
That's boasting, but it's true.
Oh my!
So the bad part is, if you start Kraken 3, you're giving yourself a huge spoiler if you haven't read the book prior to that.
Yeah.
So at a minimum, I encourage. Ideally, if you haven't read the series, start off with just Kronos Rising, the first book from 2014. It was a Book of the Year winner. It got a lot of awards and accolades, and that will set the stage for you. And then just go from there, because you don't want to. Everything kind of goes together. It's like if you wouldn't want to watch like the third Hobbit movie if you hadn't seen the first 2.
Exactly.
That type of thing.
Exactly.
So you're cheating yourself, because a lot of the subtle nuances, a lot of plot twists, a lot of the character arcs, what these people have gone through and what they need to resolve will be lost on you if you haven't read the previous books. So.
But what I was getting at is that if they do read that sample chapters or 2, in the Amazon thing, are they also going to get an idea of how intense and detailed your writing style is, or should they just forget about that and go to the first book directly anyway. I mean, we're encouraging them to do that. But I would imagine that you have that ability at any point in that third novel to give them an idea of how your writing style is.
Well, there are on my website. They go to maxhawthorne.com under the free book section. There are excerpts that aren't from the beginning of the books where they can go there and they can download like a chapter or two free samples and stuff. I mean, my writing is very visceral. It's very gritty. It's very descriptive. It's not ornately or overly flowery, anything like that. I just really work hard to put people in the zone. A pet peeve of mine is there are writers out there, and whether they do this for their publisher or their own, or they're just lazy, who they don't do the work. They like if they describe a character, 26 years old with black hair. Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, I can't wait to see what happens to him. I'm on the edge of my seat. You know, where they describe a scene and it's so bare bones. It's like, and the excuse is, oh, the reader will imagine that. Well, no, that's not the reader's job. It's my job. It's your job. We need to create that world, that visual, as if people feel like they're in a movie theater, or if they're looking through a sheet of, hopefully in my case, bulletproof glass, to see the action. Okay, you want to sweep your readers up and away and make them feel that they're there. That's why that woman brought the dog into her bathroom with her when she went to get a bath, because she was afraid because of what she read.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you do that, you've done your job. Otherwise, there's a million authors out there to choose from, and I mean literally. So,
yeah.
And by the way, well, this will be self-serving, but I was very honored recently because Amazon, just like a week or two ago, emailed me and invited me to add Kronos Rising, my first novel, once again into their Prime reading list.
Oh, wow!
Amazon Prime. It's really I guess people were asking for it or something, but see, like there's two types of subscriptions they have. They have a thing called Kindle Unlimited, which is a lot of people have, where you pay like a set fee and you can read X number, as many books as you want, as long as you finish the first one or whatever it is. Okay, yeah. And that list has like 1.4 million books in it. But then there's the other subscription they have for Amazon Prime, and this is people that pay a fee and then they get like free shipping and all this other stuff.
Right.
And as one of their benefits, they have Prime reading lists for them of these top books. It's just 1,000 books versus 1.something million that they're allowed to read as part of their subscription. And we're talking, there are, The Hobbit is in there, and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I mean, I'm now rubbing elbows with legends. I don't know that I deserve it, but it's an honor to be there. So, I lost my point.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, I have a Amazon Prime membership, and I didn't realize that was part of the perks. So I'm going to definitely look at Kronos Rising, myself. That would be fantastic to be able to have that opportunity, and literally to think that the Amazon has made kind of a short list available for us anyway would be fun to peruse.
Yeah, it's amazing who's on that list. Like I said, I don't know that I deserve to be there, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, obviously. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, now when I always like to ask this of my author guests to try to get a little bit inside of your head when you are doing your writing and your style, how you actually do this. You've heard of many folks out there have different styles of writing, where someone will totally outline the story and plot line to death before they even put, pen to paper. Or people will some of them will say, I just start, I have no clue where I'm going, when I sit down in my normal writing schedule. First of all, let me ask you, what kind of writer are you? An evening writer, a morning writer? Do you have a certain plan that you put together when you set aside time to get into the zone?
Well, I wish I have a friend out in California, your neck of the woods. His name is Chris Parker. He's a screenwriter, and Chris has this fantastic thing where he goes to bed at 8 p.m. every night, and gets up at 4 in the morning. And while his wife and children are asleep, he writes in the middle of the night. It's peaceful, it's quiet, etc. I envy him, but I don't have that luxury. So I write when I can. Like I depending on, is it a gym day, is it not, because I'm trying to get my fat feet back in shape. But usually I'll get up, get my daughter ready for school, make her breakfast, all this good stuff, and go on social media, delete all the death threats and and stuff. Deal with any pressing matters, emails, yada yada yada, after an hour or two, and then I'll delve into my day's work. And I probably spend about 3 hours a day writing, and when I'm on, I do about 2,000 words a day, which is a chunk.
Wow.
And that's 2,000 words edited, by the way. I mean, well edited.
Oh my!
For my editor to tear me a new one, kind of thing. But but that's that's my shtick. My editing stuff, I get a lot of my ideas while I'm sleeping, which is very annoying for losing sleep. So, I swear to God, just a few days ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I dream up all these books, and this whole big story was like there. It was like this supernatural action sci-fi, like thriller type thing. I'm not going to get into what, but and I was like, wow, this is great. And so I get up and I start texting myself all these ideas and all this stuff. And pretty soon, I just get up, I walk downstairs like 4 in the morning, and I'm sitting there writing up all this summary and stuff of this thing and put it away. And 2 hours later, I drag myself upstairs and collapse for 2 hours, and I have to get up. So I get a lot of ideas like that. Current books I'm working on, plot scenes, dialogue, all sorts of stuff like that. But I like to map out the scene. I'll have a chapter, and I'll know what's going to happen in that chapter. Who lives, who dies, the main plot points, what needs to take place. Okay. When I get down to parts of the chapter, individual scenes, I do like to have notes of every little thing that I want to make sure takes place, because I don't forget anything. When my first book was written, Kronos Rising, way back in 2004, I was doing that great until one chapter, chapter 12, which is a scene where this Plesiosaur attacks a marina in front of news crews and stuff and reveals itself to the world. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to wing it. Boy, was that a mistake. Okay. I had to rewrite that chapter like 3 times. My brother, who is a technical journal writer, he's like, what the heck happened here? What is this stuff? Who wrote this? An orangutan? And it just got out of control. It just literally, I was like, there was no brakes, and I was going downhill 100 miles an hour, and I just couldn't stop it. So we have this ongoing joke about chapter 12. Like, boy, you really chapter 12 that one now, didn't you? So I do like to have outlines.
In other words, at one point, something takes over, and you're just holding on as you write.
It was like it turned into a Godzilla movie. It just literally got out of control. It was like death, destruction, nonstop rampage, etc. But when I do the actual writing, see, this is the trick, at least for me, is I put myself, when I go into the zone, I'm there. So it's like what I see is what I describe. And I went to an art college, so I used to draw cartoons and all this other stuff. And so my visual skills are very much there. And so I'm just transposing that into words, into the written form. See? So it's like when I write, I'm there. It's like I'm staring at the screen, but I'm sort of hypnotized. And I can see everything that I'm describing, and I'm just describing what I see. And that's why it works for me, because it's just, completing the circuit. And the only time it didn't work was when I got I had a bad injury, and they had me on major pills and stuff. And my brain was so fried. All of a sudden, it was like I couldn't make the connection. It was like there was something in the way. And I'm like, oh my God, I lost my edge. I lost my ability, my mojo. I felt like Austin Powers. I lost my mojo or something. Yeah. And I just, quit cold turkey, got off that pharmaceutical train wreck, I guess you'd call it, and everything bounced back. So
that's very interesting, Max, that you explained how your brain works. It's interesting to me that maybe your brain works kind of very interesting compared to most folks, maybe because of your experience with lightning and electricity and near death, who knows. But the fact that...
My wife would certainly tell you my brain works in interesting ways. I'm not sure she approves of some of it, but
Yeah. No, the idea being that you are a visual artist. You have that ability literally to create art out of nothing. But now you're telling us that you have the ability to actually use the both sides of the brain, maybe, to communicate with one another, to actually get it down in writing as well, to describe what you're seeing. And that's quite unique, I think.
Well, you have to do that. You don't want to go adjective crazy or anything like that, but people need to see, hear, smell, what's going on in the scene. I think, like, when I was on your show the last time, didn't I read a little excerpt from one of the books? So, and it had Natalia Dragonova. She was crawling through that underground, through that air duct.
Oh, yeah.
And it was and the spider webs, and she thought she ate one. It was on her face, and she had the sweat pooling in her lower back, and the heat, and all this stuff, and the pain of injuries and such. And you want to really breathe life into your work, and that's why if we were going to do a film or a series of films on the novels, that they're tailor made for that, because it's already there. Everything that they need, would need, I've already done, I guess you'd say. Obviously, everybody comes and they tear your book to pieces and they do what they want in terms of scripts and stuff like that. But I like to make people feel like they're in the action and worried that it's going to come crashing through that window and end up in their lap.
Yeah,
that's my shtick, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. So basically, as far as a writing style, you would be almost the opposite of Ernest Hemingway, the terse, short descriptions as compared to something like you're saying that you do. That's interesting.
And Hemingway sort of gave me my start, right? Didn't we talk about that?
You did mention, but I think that would be worth re-mentioning right now.
Oh, okay. So the reason I finally decided to start writing full-time, or strive to start doing that, I guess you'd say, is I was down in Florida in the Keys, and there is a place down there, I think it's Bass Pro's Outdoor World. I'm not sure, I think it's in Marathon, Florida, one of the Keys. But and we went in there, and they had the sister ship to the Pilar, which was Hemingway's personal boat. And this was like a clone of his boat. And he had, according to the description there, had fished on this boat also. Obviously, people fish in multiple boats. And it was a big, like 40 foot maybe, dark wooden. It was old. This boat's made of wood. And when I went on there, I was fascinated because the first thing I saw was the fighting chair that he had fished in. And I'm like, wow, I get to sit in, I read The Old Man in the Sea. And I was like, I'm sitting in a fighting chair that Ernest Hemingway sat in. So as a fisherman, that was my main interest and attraction at this point.
Yeah.
But then I went down below deck, and they had his actual desk. His writing desk was there. And they had the actual typewriter that he wrote The Old Man and the Sea on. It's there. Literally, I sat at his desk, and I tickled the ivories, we'll call it, even though that's not apropos. But I was messing with his typewriter.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. And it all seems like this little voice in my head said, like, you can do this.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this.
Oh, my. Now,
that's what happened.
That's how it all started. This is before or after you had your ghost experiences with other entities like your grandmother and people talking to you as well. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think time-wise if my grandma was still around or not. I really don't know. I'd have to check. But it was probably a good 20 years ago. Maybe 25 years ago, 24 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I got the writing bug, and then I started doing like a lot of stuff for outdoor magazines, little articles and things like that, submissions and stuff, and it just grew and grew and grew.
Oh, I just love that story. I'm glad you were able to relay it again. The idea that Hemingway's spirit, at least, might have been the impetus for you to actually start a quite illustrious writing career of your own. That's great. Right on his boat as well. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, folks, we're going to take our break at the top of the hour here and come right back in just a few moments here with more of our good buddy Max Hawthorne. So hang on, ladies and gentlemen, and we will return on Spaced Out Sunday in 6 more minutes.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resnick, founder of the Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I'm bringing you the Woo every Monday through Friday on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going all out to bring you the strangest, oddest stories and subjects I could find for your entertainment. Why? Because when we hit peak Woo, I know I've done my job. So come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, and together, my friends, we own the night.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spaced-out-radio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is Watching.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Well, welcome back to hour number 3, the final hour of Spaced Out Sunday. I am your host, Michael W. Hall. Thanks for being with us. We welcome back everyone listening in our terrestrial affiliates, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, and UPRN 107.7 in New Orleans. On the digital side, we are also on Revolution Radio. And don't forget, you can always check out our archives at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. Do us all a favor and just hit that subscribe button. Our website, of course, is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to some Bumblefoot, shopping in our Spaced Out Radio store, and catching up on the SOR Newswire, and so much more. And boy, are we having a blockbuster evening tonight with our good friend Max Hawthorne, the Prince of Paleo-Fiction, but I also would like to read this little interesting blurb that I found out about Max's children's book that literally he has already written, and I thought was kind of interesting, given the fact that the holidays are going to be on us before we know. But the book is called I Want a Tyrannosaurus for Christmas. It is an endearing Yuletide tale about a lonely child whose life is turned around by, of all things, a dinosaur. Young Billy lives with his parents in the country. It's almost Christmas, his favorite time of year, but Billy is very sad. His pet iguana has gone missing. His dad is away on yet another business trip, and he has to protect his friend Javier from bullies at the bus stop every morning. But things are about to change for Billy. Up in the North Pole, Santa is dealing with an unexpected guest, a mischievous baby Tyrannosaurus Rex named Tyrone, but it looks like Tyrone. We're going to clarify that with Max. When the elves are no longer able to handle the young dinosaur, Santa's head elf, Xavier, decides to give the baby T-Rex to a very deserving child, Billy. Filled with imaginative illustrations, this touching story is bound to bring a smile to one's face and a strong anti-bullying message to boot. I Want a Tyrannosaurus for Christmas is sure to be a perennial holiday favorite. Max, I hope you don't mind me giving that little teaser there to that really cool Christmas story.
No, not at all. I wasn't expecting it, but it's great. You missed it, by the way, while we were in the break. I don't know if you saw the white tail, but I basically got mugged by this cat who got on my desk, and then he started fishing in my water.
Oh, no.
And then water got all over the place. It was this huge disaster and all that. And now he's over here sleeping.
Sleeping again, just relaxing. Now, this is the 10-month-year-old, the younger cat, that is massive.
The village idiot.
Yeah.
The village idiot.
How much does this cat weigh, do you suppose?
20 pounds.
At least, yeah.
Well, the average house cat adult is 8 to 10 pounds. And this thing is, more than twice that. And then you have all the poof that makes it look 3 times that weight. So,
yeah.
But, I didn't mean to digress. I just, I don't know if you saw me fighting with the tail, and it was like this giant plume and pandemonium and stuff. But yeah, so that's my first children's book. It was actually slated to come out last year, and then they pulled it because there's actually going to be a song that comes out this year to go with it. So there's a song called A Tyrannosaurus for Christmas that's going to be released as well. And it's really neat.
Now, is this song that you're giving us a little teaser about here, would this be anywhere near I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas? Do you know that children's song? I've heard that on every holiday season. They come out with this young kid who made this recording, and it's quite an interesting tune. So you're saying that someone has written a song that is...
I've written the song.
Oh, well, I'm glad I asked. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, it's going to go along with it, the children's book, and it's nothing like the Hippo song, except that there's a child that wants something for Christmas. That's unusual, obviously, and it's the two kind of go hand in hand. So it's a cute jingle, and being recorded as we speak, and it'll be out this holiday season.
And who is recording this song for you? Who's singing?
Can't say at this point. So.
Oh, okay. Secret.
She's
Okay.
She's very talented.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I was just wondering if it was yourself. So I just wanted to.
No, I can't sound like a little kid.
Yeah.
Not in many years. So,
I see.
I wrote and modified the lyrics, and then the musician wrote the melody, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, the music.
And somebody else is singing it. So.
Oh, I think that'll be great. And so this will be the debut holiday that it'll be coming out then, obviously.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just tend to dabble in a lot of different things, obviously.
Yeah.
Fossils, fishing, novels, kids' books, all that stuff. So, but it's a really cute story. It's not going to be a spoiler because it's for children, so I could discuss it at length, but it's like Billy has this ongoing problem with these bullies. They try to bully him, they bully his friend and such, and he's miserable. The iguana has passed away, obviously. It's kind of doesn't need to be said, but that's what's happened. He lays in bed, he doesn't know that the iguana's dead. He was told he got out and ran away. Parents don't say your pet died. The goldfish gets flushed in the toilet. We all know how that goes. But and alligators. So anyway, and he gets this baby dinosaur. His mom thinks it's a lizard. He knows it's not. His name is Tyran. And there's this ongoing thing. The thing just grows faster and faster and faster. They're feeding it 50-pound bags of dog food. It's in the backyard. It's too big for the house. Then it's like too big for the yard. And he lets it wander in the woods. They're like in Montana behind there. And then there's a problem. The rancher, this wealthy rancher that has a huge spread that's adjacent to theirs, follows these giant footsteps to their house. He's looking for a missing cow. And, they have some explaining to do and stuff. But it works out because he lets Billy, he has a permit for exotic pets, and he lets Tyran, hunt on his land. He has a feral pig problem, which obviously we know is a huge problem throughout much of the country. And so Tyran's side of the bargain is he helps control the feral pig population, and so forth. And it's cool because he ends up riding Tyron to the bus stop after Christmas, and he puts a stop to all the bullying.
I'll bet.
It's easy to do when you're sitting on top of 10 tons of Tyrannosaurus and stuff. All of a sudden, all the bullies want to be his best friend. And there's no more bullying in town and stuff. And there's great illustrations of out back, the dinosaurs just kind of like lying around, and kids are climbing on him and sliding on his tail and all sorts of stuff like that. And his dad has no idea that this is going on. And the last thing you see is the father comes home and he's like, whoa! And there's a full-grown Tyrannosaurus Rex in his backyard with a dozen kids climbing on him and all that stuff. And there's also a cute little surprise in there. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's a nice story.
Yeah, and the illustrations in the book were these something that you created as well?
I don't have the time or the patience, honestly, to do all that most of the time. So what I did was I came up with the ideas for each scene, and then I hired a professional illustrator who did all the illustrations, and he did a great job. And believe me, if you've ever talked to like David Bonadonna, who's done my covers for most of my novels, he's a fantastic paleo artist from Italy.
Oh.
He'll tell you I'm very demanding. As an artist myself, I know what I want.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't get cat hair in there. But the pictures, if you've seen the cover, do you have the cover in the description you were looking at?
I don't have the cover of your Christmas children's book. No. You might want to explain a little bit about what people are going to find when they see it.
Well, the cover is really cool because you have Billy standing there, and he's holding this enormous collar, like a dog collar, but it's like 3 or 4 feet wide, and his mother's standing there, and she's got this kind of like semi-stern, concerned look, and he's like this, like, and in the background it's sort of twilight. There's all these trees. You see the trunks and stuff, and then you look close and you notice that 2 of the trees are actually the legs of the Tyrannosaurus, hiding back there, and then the back of the cover is the whole tail comes down. There's cute forest animals that are involved, looking like whoa, and like there's an owl and a few other things. Yeah, it's really great. Footprints all over, like Sasquatch prints, but much bigger.
Yeah. So in other words, you're using both the front and the back cover kind of as a wraparound to tell the story of what's inside the book. I like that. That's fascinating.
It's great stuff. And the artist, he did an amazing job. There was a lot of work. So
yeah.
I couldn't be. So yeah, it's nice, it's one thing to write books for adults. It's an entirely different thing to write books for children. So I'm blessed to kind of have, I guess, a gift for both. And you're appealing to an entirely different audience. You can't make the plot obviously super complex or convoluted, but you want to add a little bit of magic to it for the kid, so that they're like, oh, when they see the pictures and all that stuff, the whole story comes together. And it's a pivotal time for kids. It's great to have something to be able to believe in magic and know that there's more out there than just our everyday existence, let's say.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah. Has your daughter gotten a clue of what it's going to be like? You got any feedback from your own family or your daughter at all?
Oh, she loves the pictures. Actually, she did some of the recording for the song.
Oh, my.
Yeah, because we have a nice little intro at the beginning where there's kids at a bus stop when before the song cuts in.
Yeah.
And they you have Billy riding the dinosaur, and the footsteps, and the kids' reaction, and the roar, and all that good stuff. So.
Oh, good for you! You got your family involved in. That's lovely.
Yeah. Plus, when I kick it, she'll be able to take over and get all the royalties. So.
There you go, for sure. Yeah. Well,
she's already planning what she's going to do with the money.
Oh, I'll bet. How old is your daughter currently?
She's 11 now.
Oh, cute. Very good. I've raised three daughters myself who are now adults. I remember that stage in their lives. It was just the best, actually, before they became teenagers. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, she's getting there pretty quick, actually. So
Yeah.
I used to be popular. Now I'm like an embarrassment.
Yes. Yeah.
So
don't worry, it comes back around. My thing is that my experience is that your daughters are always going to be there. You know, kind of like taking care of dad, at least in your life. So that's kind of nice, you know.
Well, I've always been embarrassing for her anyway. When she was in kindergarten, I showed up one time. I walked in, and they had been making. Actually, it's in my display case, but I'm not going to run over and grab it. But they had been making these like little ceramic mushrooms on a base with like jewels and colors and all this stuff. So I walk in, and the principal of the kindergarten is standing there talking with two of the moms. And I woke up, and there's like this big coffee table, and it's got like 50 of these mushrooms on there. And I'm me. I can't hold it in sometimes. So I'm like, you've got them doing mushrooms. And the two moms are like that. But the principal, she's like, I see you have them doing mushrooms. You know, what could she say? I wasn't lying.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. That shows your humor. I would imagine that is constantly haunting your daughter, right?
I thought she was going to have a PC stroke, to be honest. The woman, she was like, she got all red and purple and all that good stuff. But yes, I'm always embarrassing.
Yeah, that's what dads do.
You're not going to talk, right? You're not going to say anything.
Yeah. Meet me over there, Dad. You know, that kind of thing. Don't pull up in the car right up in front of my friends. You know, I remember those days. Oh my! Well, the whole idea of this year is going to be interesting holiday season for you. You just came out this last summer with your new novel, and now you've got the children's book coming out. When do you think the release on the book and the song will be for the holidays?
I honestly don't know, but I would imagine it'll be like Thanksgiving or something like that, whatever is appropriate. Yeah. It won't be the day after Halloween, I hope.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, my.
Yes, I actually have another book coming out soon, too, but that one is sort of a secret project.
Oh, I'll bet there's a whole lot of fans out there that would love to have any kind of a teaser or information, but it's up to you whether you want to tell us. Is this something that is, do we know that this is going to be Kronos related, or is this something totally different?
It's probably different. It's definitely something that you and your audience would appreciate. If you're wondering, I'm looking sideways, I'm petting this ginormous cat that, that's next to me. And if you hear a rumble, that's the purr. But yeah, it's I've got a lot of projects that are going on, and also I'm just trying to keep from losing my mind and keep everything, all the pie plates up in the air without everything coming crashing down and so forth.
Yeah. Is it difficult for you when you come up with maybe a new project, a new series, a new, genre that you're going to attempt to do, to switch gears at all?
I think it depends on the nature of the project. If something is not a novel and it's more analytical, let's say, or something, then obviously there's a different take to it. I've got a list of novels, novellas, novelettes that will last me till Rapture. I mean, honestly, it's...
You mean projects that you have not completed yet? Is that what you're saying?
Well, every time some creature comes to me in my sleep and whispers and gives me a new book idea, and then I put it together, and then I put it in a file called Future Books. And so I have, like, endless stuff. The only way that they'll all get done is if I never sleep and can work 24/7 without sleeping and still produce quality stuff.
Yeah.
But, but it's good to keep busy. But changing gears, I think you just have to immerse yourself into the story. Like if I was going to write a novel about a vampire, let's say, I would want to do something different than everything that's been done before, like with the Kraken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would want to put a new spin on it. I would want to do the Max Hawthorne version of it. And once I put all that together, I have to immerse myself into the characters themselves. What it would feel like. I mean, I have, like people say, this gift for doing things from the point of views of the creatures. One moment you're in the mindset of a sperm whale. The next you're in the mindset of this marine reptile. The next you're a gigantic octopus. The next you're a person who's more of a monster than they are. So each time you're changing gears and putting yourself into these things, shoes or flippers or tentacles or whatever you want to call it. But the gift or the idea being that you can create or be each of these things, and they're all different from one another. So they're all unique, just like people are unique. If I describe you as a character versus my daughter or some lunatic troll on Facebook or this cat sitting here, obviously everybody would have their own different individual subtleties, nuances, character quirks, etc. And obviously even their internal thought processes would vary from person to person. So
yes, and I believe that you have quite a knack of literally fleshing out the difference between various evil characters. The idea that you have been able to, most writers, I believe, kind of jumble evil together. It's evil or it's good, it's black and it's white, and you, from what I know of your writing, are able to literally explain the difference between the anti-heroes that you write about so subtly that it really draws you into their mindset. Because can you imagine trying to describe what it's like a kraken thinking or a sperm whale thinking? And this is what you do par excellence.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, honestly. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm the female kraken. My offspring are dead. It's not just a matter of motivation, though. It's how she perceives things.
Yes.
For example, at one point she's pursuing the individual that she knows wiped out her offspring, and this person is in an armored exoskeleton that's designed to function underwater called a Talos, after Talos from Greek mythology. And the system, so to her, it's like a crustacean almost.
Yeah.
It's a hard-shelled thing. But then she realizes that inside of it is a biped, as she calls it, a warm blood. And it obviously the construct now in her mind, she's able to differentiate because she's highly intelligent. She learns. And so everything that she sees and she experiences, whether it's the killer whale that her mate brought her as a meal to appease her or anything like that, it's all from an octopus's perspective. She looks at the submarine base as it would be like a midden for her. So you kind of like all these things go with just being her for that scene. But then you got to flip back and you got to be somebody else. And there's a lot of human villains too. In this Tartarus thing, there's a whole armada of red shirt villains that are the most loathsome scum of humanity you could imagine. Pedophiles, rapists, murderers, I mean, the whole enchilada. And every one of them has aspects of them that you want to bring out, and people detest them. I mean, when this one character got his comeuppance, people were like, oh, I was so waiting for him to get it, and it was so good, you did it so great, I was like, die. And I'm like, okay, take it easy.
Oh, my.
But it's always good to see justice done.
Yeah.
And we can't always do it in the real world. But I am master of my domain. So in my world, people get what's coming to them.
Yes. Well, you really, you do. Yeah, there you go. You really do excel in that regard, bringing your readers along with you. That's why they're so, I think, loyal and so descriptive in their praise for you as well.
Thank you. They're a nice bunch. You get an occasional lunatic, stalker, whatever. I'm sure you've experienced it.
Well, there is a group out there that just seems to want to get their attention by, attacking you, for instance, those kinds of things unnecessarily, and or distracting from what you're doing. You have to kind of pick and choose how you deal with certain things like that, I'm sure, in your regard.
Well, there are some people I've experienced. I mean, there's always going to be some negative people out there. People who want to tear at you and badmouth because, let's be honest, they're looking for significance. If they talk about themselves, nobody's interested because they're just, they haven't accomplished anything. They're just nobody. So their claim to fame is they want to latch onto somebody else, and that's their shtick. See, that's how they try and make themselves feel significant by trying to pull at somebody else. I don't want to say somebody better, but somebody that is out there more, and that's what they're thinking. And there are some people that for professional reasons, they want to slow your roll. They want to interfere with your stuff, hurt your sales. I've seen plenty of it, but I don't stop, and I never will stop.
Yeah.
So, it's like Rocky said, I'm going to Stallone, and I'm going to misquote this, but it's not how hard you can hit, it's how much of a hit you can take and keep on coming.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I love that. I love that quote. It's very true.
And that's how life is. And believe me, I've taken a lot of hits. So I'm still here, and there are people out there that aren't here anymore. So
yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, with that, folks, we are going to be taking our last break here on Spaced Out Sunday, and we will be back in a short period of time with our last segment with Max Hawthorne. So hang on.
Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday, right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do?
Why not get bumblefucked?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Are you addicted to the woo? Good. Me too. This is Dave Scott, and you can woo it up with me every Monday through Friday, starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, for 3 hours of great entertainment in the subjects you love. UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, intuition. Yes, we hit it all 5 days a week. Look for us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, my friends, we own the night.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association. otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Hey Spaced Out Radio fans, it's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
And we are back. Our final segment here with author Max Hawthorne and the Kronos Rising series of paleo fiction that he writes, but also, I understand, Max, that you're doing a kind of like a cover art poster giveaway as far as your promotion as well. Is that something that we want to mention about for folks, or what?
Well, actually, what I did on another show, and I don't know if we could do it here because we haven't taken any questions from anybody, but I have like a 36-inch, like a 3-foot color poster that duplicates the cover art from the new novel, which people can only see a tiny bit of next to me, obviously. Although I'm sure they like what they see. But anyway, if you want to take a few questions from people and pick a lucky winner, I mean, I'll be happy to send them a signed poster. That's my pleasure.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, we don't have that capability to literally have callers or answer questions specifically. But if someone wanted to get a hold of that poster, would they go to your website, in other words?
Oh, yeah, there's a merchandise section on the website that people can get whatever they want, from mugs to T-shirts to things like that. I mean, I did a lot of prize giveaways before the release of the new book, and I probably do an occasional one here and there. But yeah, there's a lot of people get the stuff like that.
Okay.
Stickers, all that good stuff.
And now let's make sure that everyone realizes how they can find out more about Max Hawthorne by giving your contact info and websites as well at the top of our last segment here. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. If people are looking for me on Facebook, the main fan page, which I don't really deal with a lot, is the Kronos Rising novel series on Facebook. The group that I tend to run and interact with readers is called Max Hawthorne's Monsters and Marine Mysteries. If they want to go to the website, which there is a newsletter that comes out monthly, just go to maxhawthorne.com, Hawthorne with an E on the end, obviously, or kronosrising.com, Kronos with a K. The books and everything else and the audible versions are all available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the usual stuff. So,
it occurs to me that you have a wonderful speaking voice yourself. Do you do your own audible book?
No. I probably crack up or something. It's hard for me to take this stuff seriously, and there's so many characters. A man, a woman,
Yeah.
So no, they have professionals that do that stuff. So.
Okay, just wondering. Yeah, you do have a great speaking voice as well. So,
don't tell my wife that. All right.
Yeah. All right.
She's sick of hearing me sometimes, I think.
Well, we want to make sure, I always do in the last segment of the show, ask the guest what we haven't covered, or if there's anything new that you want to bring to the audience. This is a good time to go off on a tangent if you want, or we can continue on with wrapping up the Kronos Rising series and the new book.
Trying to see what we got here. So, we talked about the Mosasaur thing a bit. I had been prepared because there have been a lot of sightings of, quote, extant Mosasaurs. People say they've seen.
You've mentioned it.
Hundreds of years.
Some place in New Zealand is a hot spot for this. Is that what you mentioned?
There's New Zealand. The gentleman that I interviewed in 2014, which is very recent, who saw a gigantic animal next to his cruise liner that sounds like an enormous mosasaur or something like that. But there's been a lot of these sightings. So the question is, are these people all smoking something? Or are they all out of their minds? Is this all the product of an overactive imagination? That type of thing? Or is there a small population of these animals still eking out an existence somewhere?
Yeah.
It's...
Was this basically what they've termed the Carnival Cruise monster that we're talking about?
Yeah, that was the one from 2014, and I think the gentleman... I interviewed the guy twice, actually. His name is Paul George. He's from the UK, and he was working on the Carnival Breeze, which I actually ran into the ship, not literally. Last time I was in Florida, I was like, wait a minute, that's the ship that he saw this thing from. And so I snapped a few pictures of it and such. It's on my site. But Paul was a fitness trainer working for Carnival. He was up on the top deck of the ship, and a small group of passengers called him over, and they said, what is that thing down there that's following the ship? And he looked down. Now, keep in mind, they're on the top deck, so they're pretty high up. I don't know the exact dimensions right now. I'm sure it's in the article, but it's got to be 180 feet in the air or something like that. But down below them, right next to the ship, probably less than 100 feet away, was this gigantic animal that was swimming along and pacing the ship, running along next to it. And keep in mind, ships, I researched this, they move under regular conditions at 20, 22 miles an hour or something like that. So despite its size, this animal was quite fast, and he said it was keeping pace with him effortlessly. It didn't seem to be showing any effort. He said that it was, most of it was below the surface. Its back sort of came up and shoulders, and it was so big, he described it when you see a submarine surfacing, water just streaming down off of it. And he saw the neck and the head. The head was sort of below the surface, just kind of came up. I guess it needed to breathe. And as it brought its head up just to the surface, he described the water as turning white all around the head. And I thought that was interesting because crocodiles and sea turtles, when they surface for air, it's not like a cetacean, a whale. There's no, and some big funnel like a whale does.
Yeah.
All that compressed water vapor. They just sort of exude bubbles, and then they breathe. as they come up. So an animal of immense size, the bubbles obviously would be smaller proportionately, and so you'd have a lot more of them, which explains that. But he saw the outline of the head and described it as being like a gigantic alligator or crocodile, and they saw the head, the neck, and what he described as like the upper back shoulder region, as he called it, and just that portion was 50 feet long. And he was able to come up with that, that's a big animal, because the rest of it would, he said, I imagine there was a lot more of it beneath the surface, but they have like lifeboats there that they would do drills on, and that they would launch during practice runs and stuff next to the boat, and the ship, and those boats are like 37 feet long. They're big, designed to hold a lot of people. And so he knew what those looked like from up there, and he could see this thing dwarf just the portion he saw. Their lifeboats with no problem. And it swam along next to them. He described its skin color, which was like almost a very smooth, almost shiny, like blackish or blackish gray with little flecks on it. Sort of like a leatherback sea turtle. He said it was very massive, very powerful, much bigger than any whale, and he'd seen whales and sharks and whale sharks next to the ship and around the ship many times. He said this thing could eat whatever it wanted, nothing could possibly survive it if it attacked something, except for a ship, obviously.
Yeah.
Which I thought was also interesting because it wasn't afraid of the cruise ship.
Right.
It didn't care. It was used to being the alpha, obviously, and nothing. It was afraid of nothing, apparently. And I'm trying to think what else was. I just heard a crash. I don't know what the cat just knocked over. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to keep talking here. Hopefully nothing. If there's smoke comes out of the door. But anyway. So they stared at it for about, gosh, I don't know, at least 30 seconds to a minute or something. And then eventually it seemed to get bored and it just veered off. And then it seemed to go back the way they came. This is in the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
Middle of the Gulf. I think August or September. He said it was still fairly warm out. And I'm trying to think if there's any other details of interest. Oh, he didn't see how it was propelling itself. So in other words, the water around it was obviously being disturbed as it moved through the water, but he didn't see flippers moving like in the front.
Yeah.
And he had asked me if I thought it was somehow a living plesiosaur, like the monsters from my novels, and or a turtle, which he said, but it wasn't a turtle. He could tell by the head and the neck and all this. And I said, it doesn't sound like anything like that because it's not using its paddles to propel itself. You would see that.
Yeah.
You know, the movement when a sea turtle swims and things like that. And since it was draped below the surface and down like this, the odds are it was using a caudal fin, an undulating movement like this, to move through the water like a shark or a mosasaur or something like that.
Yeah.
So I went through all different things with him to try and figure out what it was.
As opposed to a dolphin's tail that would be up and down or a whale,
exactly.
This thing was maybe doing lateral. something. Yeah, lateral. Yeah. Fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't. I sent him photos, dorsal views of every whale, beaked whale, sperm whales, blue whales, everything. And he said that this thing was longer than a blue whale, but much more massive in terms of its sheer size.
Really?
Like the portion he saw, the 50-foot section, if you put that next to half of a blue whale, it dwarfed it in terms of its bulk. So whatever it was I have no idea, but it sounded like a reptile of some kind based on the descriptions, the behavior, that type of stuff. He did say he had taken a picture of it with his cell phone as it turned and started swimming away, and then he got into a situation in a bar at the next port, and his phone was lost in a scuffle and so forth.
Oh, yeah, no.
But when I did the interview about him and I did the blog post and stuff, I mentioned in there, because he said that he didn't know if anybody else, like a lot of people didn't have their phones because they're, doing water activities and stuff like that on the top deck.
Yeah.
But he thought that it's possible that one or two of them might have taken a picture. And so I had put out there, if anybody was on this ship and saw some immense thing swimming next to the Carnival Breeze, please reach out to me, because, that would be fantastic if somebody had a photo of this animal.
And literally, that was how long ago? Do we have a time frame at all?
2014.
Oh, really?
Like September, I think he said. Yeah, end of the summer of 2014. So that's only 6 years ago.
Yeah.
and it's probably still alive. He doesn't strike me as the type of person to make up wild stories. He was very emphatic about it. And he told me he'd been abused by his friends and family, telling him what he saw and stuff. You know, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My. Now,
it happens when you tell people stuff that, like, things I saw, you know, they don't want to take you seriously. They think you're a lunatic or I don't know what.
Yeah, I know. I realize it's a difficult situation. Has anyone else described this kind of sea creature as well, or is this just like a one-off kind of a thing?
That exact type of sea creature?
Well, whatever we're calling this, a Mosasaurus.
Monster. I mean, if we look at those New Zealand sightings, or like the Monongahela one would be something good to reference, for example. But this goes back to, gosh, I'm going to say in the 1850s or something like that. I think it was like 1852, maybe. There was a whaling vessel called the Monongahela that harpooned and killed what sounds like this animal or something very similar to it. This is a well-known cryptozoological incident, and they, I'll do the Cliff Notes version because I obviously time's of the essence, but they thought it was a whale. Then they saw a 10-foot head like a crocodile come out of the water. They launched boats, and the animal was apparently either hurt or dying already. It was like thrashing on the surface as if it was sick or mortally wounded and such. Otherwise, it probably would have gotten out of there. They harpooned it. After a long struggle, they killed it. They brought it to the surface. And the interesting thing is that now they start getting into exact measurements and everything else of the animal. And they described how long it was, that it was a male, how many teeth it had, the size of the teeth, the curvature of the teeth, the tongue. I mean, everything went on and on and on. The proportions, how big it was around the neck. The neck was about 6 feet thick if you're going up and down. You know, the body, the length. But the parts that make it, you know, you could look at this and you could say, well, could be some guys telling a story and stuff. But they knew things about a mosasaur anatomically that nobody knew then. And the first thing is that they described its tail as ending in firm, flat cartilage, like the tail of a sturgeon, which means this thing had a caudal fin.
Yeah.
And nobody knew this with the fossil record until like 10 or 15 years ago, whatever it was, when they started finding fossils with the outlines of the soft tissue. So how would they know that this thing had a fin like this unless they saw it? They even said it was 15 feet long, the tail portion, the fin.
Oh, my.
And they cut it open. They rendered it like, you know, flensed it and everything, like they would a whale. It had blubber, 4 inches thick, they described. So they described how the blubber burns, like turpentine, everything, all this stuff they knew. And they described its lungs, and they said it had 2 lungs, and one was significantly longer than the other. And that was also very interesting, because mosasaurs are closely related to monitor lizards and snakes. And many species of snakes have one lung that is much shorter than the other. How would these guys know all this stuff if they didn't actually kill this animal and cut it into pieces and boil it down and so forth?
Yeah.
See, it's very interesting to me from an anatomical perspective.
And was this something that they literally were able to bring back to port and do all of this too?
So what happens is the captain gave them his mail and the description, his logbook of this incident to a ship that was heading back before them. Apparently he wanted the story to be there waiting for them when they got back, fame and fortune and all this stuff. They had the animal's head. They cut off its head, and they had it in a vat of, I forget what this stuff is, alcohol or something like that on board, and its surviving eyeball was in a jar and such. And then the ship was eventually destroyed. The ship never made it back to port, and wreckage was found, and the belief is that it was crushed in ice. They were going further and further north, hunting whales, sperm whales and such, and that pack ice might have enclosed it and crushed it. That's what...
Oh.
The ship literally was destroyed.
Oh,
so
my.
If anybody could find... that they find a wreck of the Monongahela on the bottom,
yeah,
this thing's skull might still be there.
Oh, my. Yeah. Some kind...
170 years, but I don't know how long bone of that mass might last, you know, underwater. I don't know if the vat it was in was sealed or wouldn't be, but there could be fossil evidence of something like that. I mean, it's not fossil evidence, but physical evidence of something out here. I personally like to think that the animal's mate did that.
Yeah, right.
Ship. Yeah, as the writer of me, if I was telling the story, see, now right now you got somebody listening, I'm going to steal this idea, write the story about the Monongahela and the female Mosasaur pursuit. Oh, and it was a male, the one that they killed. They said that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I would have had the female track them down and ram the ship repeatedly and sink it and so forth.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's just me.
Well, and I love the idea that you actually have a historical story about the Monongahela as actually being a ship that did, because they gave the story to some other captain to tell the folks back home, so that's how it survived. It sounds like the story.
Yeah, his logbook is in a nautical museum. I forget where, but the story is there. Everything he wrote. And I think there's even a drawing that they did of this thing. It was dead on the surface.
Yeah.
When they brought it to the surface. And all the members of the crew signed the sketch to sign off on it.
Oh, my. Oh, I love those kinds of historical events that somehow get leaked out. That must have been huge. I don't know how big the Monongahela vessel was, but it sounds like it was quite substantial compared to the boat even.
Yeah, the animal they said was 104 feet long or something like that. They had exact measurements. And I think the ship was probably of similar length or something. I honestly don't know the boat's dimensions.
Yeah.
One report said that it was longer than the ship. The other, it was similar in length. But, 100-something foot Mosasaur would probably fall into line with what swam next to the cruise ship. So
I'll bet, yeah.
I mean, it could be just wishful thinking, but the Monongahela story didn't come from nowhere. And what Paul George saw seems to be real, so it'd be really great if they finally prove that something like this is out there. Except you wouldn't want to go swimming around one, because a person would be just the right size for a meal.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, my. Another Steven Spielberg classic for sure. Well,
they have it loose, remember? It's now out there in the ocean at the end of the Jurassic World.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, my goodness. Here we go again. Max Hawthorne, this has just been awesome, buddy. Thank you for spending another great show with us here on Spaced Out Sunday. And I really look forward to the holidays for you with the children's book coming out and, of course, more and more things happening with the Kronos Rising series. This has been a real pleasure for us.
It's been my pleasure. I can't thank you enough for putting up with me and my monsters.
Anytime. And anytime you come up with this new idea or maybe the new genre that you're going to start working on, we're going to have you back. Explain whenever that's appropriate as well. So thank you again, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
All right, folks. You're welcome. Talk to you later, and we will be back in just a few moments here to end up the show.
Once was a man who had some land in eastern Washington. On his land, this man, he had a deep dark hole of pond. People came from miles around to throw their trash down in to see how deep the hole was and listen for its end. And then one day, that fateful day, they forced Mel off his land. They paid him off and sent him off down under with a plan. They hit Mel's hole and covered it up so never it could be found. So no one will ever know what's deep down in Mel's ground. Yippee-yi-yay.
Well, I want to remind everyone that Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show, and you can find out more information and music at bumblefoot.com. Special thanks to everyone listening in at home and in your cars, at work, and in the chat rooms, wherever you are around the world. Remember, this show is currently copyrighted by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thanks for sharing your evening with us, folks, because, friends, we own the night. Good night, everyone. We will talk to you next Sunday on Spaced Out Sunday.